lives. We've tried to get a job. We've tried to speak to somebody to say, I'm looking for work. Can you link me up with someone or so, right? That is what we see on our end. But on the side of HR, there's quite a lot of activities that go on, from the owner of a business trying to determine, what are the things that we need for a good candidate that we're looking for. What are a lot of, they are putting different part and parcels together so that a good job description or a good vacancy advert is put together to be able to get the right candidate. Okay, so that's recruitment, trying to hire someone to support a business operations. There's quite a lot of overwhelming operational frictions when it comes to recruitment before it got smarter recently. Number one is, the hurdles of even drafting the vacancy advert and trying to put together the smart weddings, everything that forms a good advert that we see out there. That's just one part of it. We also understand the part of advertising using newspapers in the traditional means, word of mouth, talking one-on-one with other people, then referrals, which is, asking people if they know anyone that has that kind of competencies, and then having them to, refer them. Then we see a lot of application volume overload, which is, everyone is now submitting their applications. Even in the past, when we used to have emails, there's really, quite a number of hundreds of resumes or emails that HR receives, right, from applicants. But by the time you start reviewing one after the other, you would see that almost 90% of those applicants are not qualified for the position that has been advertised. There's also the challenge of slow time to hire, which means that, traditionally 45 working days is usually considered the hiring cycle for recruitment activities, because to be able to advertise, to be able to source for CVs, to be able to screen those CVs and review them, to be able to run interviews, and then before the final candidate selection is made, sometimes it takes up to about 45 days or more. So these are some of the challenges that were faced. Then also there is also the case of recruiter cognitive bias. I think he stepped out. Recruiter, no, he stepped out. There's also the case of recruiter cognitive bias, which is when the person who is interviewing the other person has some kind of bias. It could be gender bias, it could be age bias, it could be professional bias, it could even be a ripple effect or any other kind of bias, right? It could be a recency bias. It could be a recency bias as well, but then it is actually cognitive because the person on the other end does not know what is happening at the end of the recruiter. However, there are tech-driven solutions that has now been put in place over the years to be able to resolve each of these identified challenges. And the reason why it is important for corporate professionals to know is for them to also be able to adapt. For example, applications are now reviewed using AI, and what that means is that keywords are going to be given to these AIs to look for certain keywords in CVs, and CVs that has the strongest capacities around these keywords would be selected. out of all these CVs. So let's assume that 1,000 people actually applied for a job, right? And then as an HR professional, and this is 21st century, I do not have the capacity to start screening 1,000 CVs. Let's assume we are trying to hire for a customer service executive professional. Okay, so I go into an AI that is approved by my organization and I facilitate an automation, give it some strong prompts and commands to say, look for people that have 4 years experience in customer service, look for people that has so and so skills, stakeholder relationship skills, look for um, people management skills, look for customer relations, look for highly intelligent, look for detail oriented, some of these keywords that are very, very key to the responsibilities and job of a customer service executive, as an example, are going to be fed into the AI, and then all the CVs are going to also be uploaded on the AI. Then the AI will begin to do its work by automatically reviewing all those CVs, right? And then only selecting the CVs that are in alignment um, with the prompt that is given to the AI. So at the end of the day, after the AI has already done its automation tasks, it is going to just return, let's say, about 5 to 6 CVs out of the 1,000 CVs that was received. So how does this help? It helps HR to reduce time and work overload, because imagine it takes an HR professional a whole day to review 100 CVs by looking through these CVs one after the other, right? To review a 1,000 applications, the HR person is going to have to review for 10 working straight days, which is 2 weeks. However, the job or that particular workload, that particular activity can be delivered by an AI that is deployed in less than 10 minutes. Okay, especially when an agent is being used, right? So that is how technology is assisting to drive some of these solutions. But then, as I mentioned, on the other side of the corporate world, it means that the way candidates should now draft their CVs has to now be different, because candidates are required now to start drafting or putting their CVs together to be something we call ATS compliant. And what we mean by ATS compliant means that it is compliant with all of the assumptions, or yes, by taking a guesswork and facilitating a list of keywords that are related to any particular job anyone is going to be applying for, and then ensuring that those keywords are embedded in those CVs. Only CVs that are ATS compliant are going to be. Just a moment, please. Okay, apologies, please. I had very short instruction, but I believe that you can hear me now. And anyone confirm you can still hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you very much. So, as I was saying, So these are very important part of it. Immediately, technology is being deployed to be able to serve or to be able to reduce workload or to be able to support HR with work. There is going to also be a ripple effect on the other side of the corporate professionals who are looking to apply for some of these jobs, right? And they also must be aware of some of these tech-enabled solutions that HRs are using, not only around CV screening. We also have candidate experience portals, right? Because before, employees just sent emails and then they wait till forever and ever until someone on the other hand reaches out and then they send follow-up emails and all. However, there are candidate experience portals now where you just log in into your profile, and then after logging in into your profile, you upload your CV, apply for a position, and then you are going to be getting, almost daily updates on what is happening with your application. So what this means is that you are not in the dark about what is going on. You are going to be in the know. So that's a candidate experience portals that has been deployed. So over the years, these are some of the ways technology has supported smarter recruitment. Because I don't want to spend too much time, it's already 8:15, but I still have one or two more slides. We can see here on my screen the recruitment efficiency impact and time to hire reduction about 82% faster. Recruiters training hours saved by 75%. Qualified candidate match about 68%, and early 90-day retention gain about 95%. So these are very, very key performance indicators for HR professionals. But it is beyond HR professionals. How about the candidates on the other hand? How are they also adjusting? How are they also adapting to these technological shifts? Right. So that's one. We also want to look at managing remote teams, which means that, before the advent of COVID, there has been remote working, but it is actually not a thing in the corporate world. It is not so popular. But the advent of COVID-19 was what brought it intentionally into the world of work. And then everybody began to see that it is actually possible because a natural occurrence or a pandemic actually enforced it, and then it worked. But then the aftermath of it was that, there is beginning to have a lot of disadvantage by people working remotely, right? Distributed workforces, face isolation, fragmented communication, asynchronous misalignment, and cultural erosion. All of these things are happening across borders and time zones. Imagine two people working for the same company, living in the same axis, but they have never met each other for 1 or 2 years because they work remotely, right? So these are some of the things, and it has caused a lot of performance lag in the past. Some of the most recent challenges that has been reported around remote teams is that many people are now becoming less productive when they are working remotely than when they were working physically from the office. What this means is that they are not doing as much as they should do because there's quite some level of relaxation spirit when they are at home, or when they are when they are working from home. So all of these things, technology has also contributed to the improvement of some of these things. How has technology helped to improve managing remote teams? bridging distance and trust, right? Because, we work in different time zones. Somebody is in America, and then somebody else is in UK, somebody else is in Canada, 4 hours, 5 hours, sometimes up to 7 hours difference in the time zone, right? But then technology has helped for teams to be able to bridge some of these things, okay? By, some softwares that remote teams are now enforced to use to ensure that, communications are passed, in real life, and then somebody on the other end is actually getting the communication and then responding, right? It is also a means to, bring people together virtually, to connect so that the cultural erosion, the face isolation is going to be brought back to the world of work by some of these technologies that facilitate, gaming activities for virtual teams and transparent architectures to ensure that everything that every remote worker is doing is also transparent to their employers, right? So on the other end, for corporate professionals, we also must be aware of some of these technologies and have some level of capability to be able to use them. I'm talking about Asana, I'm talking about Discord, I'm talking about Slack. These are some of remote working tools that, technology has adopted to be able to bridge distance gaps for remote teams. So that we don't dwell too much on the call. Finally, we want to look at performance management and, the traditional performance management systems. What are some of the consistent challenges that has been experienced and how technology has helped to be able to improve that? Annual lag, which is backward-looking yearly appraisals, where every organizations only facilitate an annual performance appraisal using a general or a regular performance appraisal document to be able to do that. That is what has happened in many organizations, and then performance management in such organizations has failed over the years. In fact, many organizations are actually guilty of this. Only organizations that cannot adopt to the modern performance management systems are going to be left behind. We also look at manager bias, where when an employee has offended the line manager based on behavioral or anything else that does not even relate to the job. However, the employee is actually doing well on the job, performing great job, and then delivering as expected. But when the manager actually wants to appraise the employee, instead of ensuring that the employee gets their full mark based on the job that they done, the manager bias is going to set in because they do not like that employee. They are going to score the employee low. So these are some of the challenges that we experience in the back. Disengagement, stressful rating skills without clear personal growth pathways. The only thing that was available in those days was the rating scale. On a scale of 1 to 5, how are you rating yourself? Many organizations are actually still using these systems, but these systems do not actually work any longer, right? Except if it is a combination of a couple of other systems. But nowadays, in the 21st century, continuous feedback model is what is in vogue for performance management. Now, instead of waiting for the end of the year for an appraisal to hold, there are live goal tracking sheets or live OKR sheets, objective and key results is the meaning of OKR. We have some of these live sheets where performance expectations, responsibilities have actually been outlined, and employees are just expected to check in what they are doing, update the targets, and then in real time, they can see exactly how they are performing. They do not need to wait until the end of the year. Another thing that technology has helped is the one-on-one check-in, which is automated conversation prompts and pulse assessment from some performance management systems that just prompt the line manager to have a one-on-one with their subordinates, and then the report is fed into the system to also facilitate a review internally and then propose an intervention once there is need for one. There is also 360 peer analytics. This used to be a whole lot of work. We want one person to be able to talk about the other person, and then someone is carrying file around. My manager, could you give me a recommendation? Could you give me a feedback? Your colleague too is also supposed to give a feedback. The frontline person, most likely the janitor, the gate man person, also wants to give a feedback. By the time all of these things are running around, a lot of time has been spent, and the feedback will not, be able to be analyzed, and then also it is going to be very, very stressful for the person. But 360 peer analytics, some new age systems, performance management systems, now already has this 360 peer analytics. You just do a one click, and then it automatically sends a message to everyone that needs to give feedback around that person's performance, and everyone is providing their feedback just right immediately from the comfort of wherever they are, and then boom, the 360 evaluation is completed just like that. So that's some of those things, and it is very important for us at the back end to also understand this, especially for corporate professionals, because it is no longer business as usual. A lot has changed, and being digital savvy, being technology savvy is not something we want to joke with now. It is a very important part of the skill that all corporate professionals must carry. Your level of tech savviness, your level of digital awareness is going to tell on how some of these things impact us. So these are some of the ways technology has impacted HR, and of course how corporate professionals are supposed to also react to some of these things. What's on your screen is just showing us recommended platforms for some of the pillars that we have highlighted earlier. For example, if you look at recruitment, a very recommended platform that is being used at the moment is Greenhouse. If you apply for international opportunities or with multinational organizations, you will see that Greenhouse is really doing a lot of work in supporting recruitment activities. Talking about remote teams, I mentioned earlier, Notion is a platform that all corporate professionals should go and learn how to use. It is also a chat platform, a team management platform, just like WhatsApp for social media, but you need to get onto it to be able to use it. There's Deal also, and there's Bonusly. All of these things are there. These are platforms, technology softwares that are recommended for some of these pillars. For performance management, Culture Amp is there, 15.5 is there, Lattice is also there, right? These are platforms that has OKRs embedded in them, that has 360 feedback embedded in them to simplify some of these performance activities. So on your own, as a corporate professionals, you might want to research some of these platforms and get, an awareness is even better from not knowing it at all, because it is going to come, a time is going to come when candidates are going to be asked, oh, are you able to use 15.5 for performance management? Not even an HR thing, because HRs are only going to drive the process. Employees are the ones that will set their own KPIs and objectives, that will update their own targets, and then facilitate appraisal via those platforms themselves. So being able to use it is a very, very important capability that everyone needs to build. So I think I've been able to cover quite a lot. This is already 6:30. I don't want to stay too much. So I believe that I've been able to expose us a little bit into how some of this technology works, and expectations from organizations is that you are supposed to be tech savvy. You are supposed to be digital oriented, digital aware of how these softwares work. Okay. So that will be all. Thank you very much for listening. I'm happy to take questions and answers now, if any. Thank you. Host, you may please have the floor.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mustafa Adetoyese, for this wonderful presentation. And I believe we all learn more than enough. So if we truly following him, because he tell us about many things that we need to know. The way technology has made the HR work stress-free, when you don't have to be checking close to like 100 application before you know the which one. So using the ATS techniques by some software to just shortlist the one that has all the keyword and some parameters they needed. So thank you so much. Now let's move to the question and answer. I believe that we'll all have one or two, three questions, because many people might not be an HR, might be wondering why they have been applying for different work and they are not shortlisted. Some might be like, what is happening? Because it's not only about experience. By the time you don't put the right thing, you will find yourself like. So let's now move to question and answer. If you have a question, you can please raise up your hand, then you are moved to ask. So, okay, I can see the hand of Odunola Oladimeji. You can please unmute yourself, Mrs. Odunola Oladimeji.
Sorry, it's Mr. So thank you, Mr. Abbas, and a wonderful presentation from
All right. Sorry
Mr.
about that.
Yeah, I know, no problem. So my question is just that with technology, is it that technology is going to create a gap or distance between the HR and the staff? Because once employees now have to, especially in terms of performance management, they just have to set their own objectives, give their own measurements, and what HR does is just to spool out all of these things and give their own remarks and all that. So in terms of, I think AI is just coming to make processes faster, so to say, in terms of operation. But in terms of human management, hope is not that AI is trying to create a gap between employees and HR. So that's my question.
Okay. Thank you. AI is not creating any gap. AI is just a platform that improves what is already available. For example, when it comes to performance management, even HR itself has evolved when it comes to performance management. We have people performance, we have corporate performance. Corporate performance influences people performance, and every employee has a job description but beyond the job description, the corporate objectives supersedes everybody else, and that is what everyone wants to achieve, right? So every employee are going to feed from the performance of their line managers, and these are human activities, engagements, activities that brings people together, activities that that create a top-down flow of information and how HR strategy or organizational strategy is executed. The only activity or the only thing AI can help to do is to improve what has already been identified, right? Maybe for generating or for improving KPIs, right? But it is not an AI that will actually do the job. For example, for a customer experience, for a customer service executive, AI can only assist to improve the JD by generating an improved JD, right? That is well drafted or well crafted. But who is going to actually do the job is actually the person that is there. And then the use of technology for performance management, tracking, and management is just so that everything can actually be, on a system that can be tracked along in a real-time basis, or on a real-time basis rather. Okay, so it just actually means that the customer service executives already has a list of 10 things that the business the person is working for expect that person to achieve. Instead of the person to just write it on paper and keep it, you are putting it on a system, and then that system is actually reminding you, when anything is at risk, or when the achievement of a particular KPI is actually at risk. Do not forget that it is still human that will feed these systems with the data to which they will behave. It is still humans that will feed AI with the data to which we want it to generate. So AI is there, a very good tool to use, to improve things, but it is not going to replace the human effects on any aspect of life, not only in HR, not only in performance management. It only improves, it cannot remove the human aspect of it. Thank you. I believe that helps.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mustafa. I believe that answer your question, Mr.
Yes,
Oladimeji Odola. Do we have any
yes,
other
yes.
person
Thank you.
with question? Okay, if you don't have any question, let's move to the key takeaway. So if you have one or two key takeaway to share, you can please raise up your hand. So what have you learned so far? So what is your key takeaway? And also, let me bring to our notice, please follow our technology on all our social media and also our WhatsApp channel, so that you can be at the first to get the update whenever we have our programs. Last month, we discussed about how you use technology to secure scholarship, and is an informative presentation. We invite someone that's already a PhD candidate in US to come and give the students what are the things they need to know. So next month too, we will having another webinar, so that I will be dropping the link. So please, let's check this chat box. Let's follow our channel and also our social media. So while we are still waiting for, if you have a key takeaway, what you've learned so far. So we don't have someone that can tell us what are the key takeaways that you learn today. Let me start with my own key takeaways. So part of the thing that I grab from the presentation is that everybody must be aware of what ATS is all about, so that when you are writing your next application, we follow the principle so that you will not be outlisted. So that is one. And also to minimize the work of HR. So when you have close to like 100 applicants, instead of you spending like 2, 3, let's say 2, 3 days, or even a week sometimes. So AI will help you shortlisted, and also everybody must be aware of all this software that it's used when you are working remotely, like the likes of Asana, uh, what is Discord, and some other things. So let's hear key takeaways. Ms. Tura, do you have key takeaways to tell us? Mr. Rafiu Martin, do you have key takeaway to tell us? Mr. Amado, you join late, but you can still have some key takeaway to tell us. So what you've learned since this little time you join? So I'll be dropping this our social media link on the chat box. Please follow us for more updates. So the Facebook, the Instagram, the LinkedIn, the YouTube. Let's check it. Our website also, we are now using .com, not using .com.ng anymore. So likewise, I will drop this our WhatsApp channel as well. So if you have, so that for you to follow us, please everybody, please do us a favor to follow about some technology on our WhatsApp channel. I will drop the link soon now. So Mr. Mustafa Adetoyese, thank you for your time. So I've dropped our WhatsApp channel as well. Thank you for your time for this wonderful out of no time. You can see that you are at work while you are still attending to some one or two things, and you still find time to for this program. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. For our listener as well, thank you so much for your time. Let me call on Mr. Ahmed Oyekan. Please come and give us the closing remark. So we call it a day of crayfish. We only have one question, which is Mr. Oladimiji has asked, and Mr. Mustafa has answered that. So Mr. Oyekan, please give us the closing remark. Thank you all.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so sorry for joining late. It was due to my network. It was raining in the part where I'm higher, so I am sorry. Although I was not able to meet some of the classes, but I believe it is on record. I will be able to listen to it. So thanks to our guests. We really appreciate for your time and kind. Then to all our listeners, we appreciate every one of you. May God in his infinite mercy be with us all and bless us abundantly. Amen. Once again, thank to you all. So by God's grace, we meet in the next month. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed Oyekan, for this wonderful closing remark. Please, everyone, please, if you are fine to open your mic so that we can do a short camera to just capture our faces. If you are fine to do that, you can please open your mic. I'll be open your camera. Thank you as you do that. We only have 2 people. If you are fine with it, please open your camera so that we can capture that. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to follow us on our WhatsApp channel, our Facebook as well, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and many more. If you want to learn any of the digital training, digital skill training, you can reach out to Microsoft Technology. Thank you so much, Mr. Odunola Oladimeji, as you do that. Let me recapture the screen. Thank you so much as you do for doing that. Others too, thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. So don't forget to follow us on our WhatsApp channel and our other social media as well. So by the God grace, we will meet in next month for another webinar that's going to be technology inclusive in any of the field we are. It can come in any of the. Please, if you are followers on our channel, can you please raise up your hand? So, Mr. Ahmed, you can close the camera. So, if you are followers on our channel, please let me see your thumb up. That you have done that. Let me see your thumb up. Okay, Mr. Ahmed, thank you. You have done that. Mr. Raviu Martins, thank you. You have done that. Please, if you have done that though. Okay, Mr. Odunola, if you are followers on our channel, please thumb up. Let me see. So thank you so much. And also on our other social media as well. But we know that one of the easiest one to get is this one of the easiest one is this our WhatsApp channel. Is one of the easiest one because everybody we are all on WhatsApp, just like we check text message on our phone. So WhatsApp is more easier to send message these days. So even to make call once you have data. So if you are follow us, let me see you thumb up. Please and please do a favor by follow us so that you can also be updated. So I will stop recording and I will be seeing you in next month. You can check our website, you can message us if you have any question, if you want to learn any skills, data analysis, cyber security, just name it. So we tailor it to suit your time and you will be happy at the end of the day. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. See you next month. Next month.
Okay, team.